Thank you. Let's bring in a Democrat running for U.S. Senate here in California, Christina Pascucci, and Independent Women's Forum senior legal fellow, May Mailman. Thank you both for coming on. May, I want to play this soundbite. This is the former president talking about Joe Biden being the nominee. Watch.
I personally don't think he makes it. He's in bad shape physically. Do you remember when he said, I'd like to take him behind the barn? If he took me behind the barn and I went like this.
And meantime, you have the left, and they continue talking all day long about Trump if he gets into office. Oh, he's going to be a dictator. It's just kind of on and on. What are your thoughts about Trump kind of jumping in before the GOP debate tomorrow night?
Well, a town hall is, I think, Trump's best forum because everybody likes what he has to say. He talks a very strong game. I think where Trump has some weakness is, well, you had 4 years to do it and the border isn't secure. You didn't have a border bill. You said you were going to do something about the national debt, but it grew $8 trillion. These type of things I think Republican voters actually care about. In a town hall, you don't get to probe on it. So I do think it went well for him. It was a very energetic crowd. Obviously, he's got a great rapport with Sean Hannity. You know, they're friends. So it was entertaining. It was awesome. It was great. But it's not exactly what a primary voter needed.
Yeah, but then again, he's up by so much, May. In fact, we're going to talk about this because the former president mentioned the whole concept of not taking any chances of Iowa. Here he is saying that.
You know, it's 5 weeks now, and we'll be coming here a little bit, and then the last couple of weeks we'll be blitzing because we don't want to take, we're up, I guess, by like 30 or 40 points, but we're not taking any chances.
I mean, it almost seems, Christina, like part of this is he wants to take the air out of the room tomorrow night in Tuscaloosa for the GOP going after this. So he kind of maybe upstages him tonight. What do you think?
The whole thing was interesting to watch. That's one way to describe it. I think you mentioned earlier in this segment, a new generation of voters is what people are looking for. I think the majority of Americans don't want to see a rematch between former President Trump and Biden. And so it is time to bring in a fresh generation who's more in touch with the voters. And I'm not sure that he was. He really played to his base tonight, for sure.
It's interesting because Biden said this at a fundraiser. We talked about this maybe being the most controversial thing of the night. He said, quoting here, May, if Trump wasn't running, I'm not sure I'd be running. We cannot let him win. I mean, if you're a Democrat and you think, wait, is the only reason the president of the United States is running is to stop Trump? It doesn't seem like you're very convincing. What do you think?
Yeah, so a Biden campaign advisor was quoted as saying yikes after that. But I don't necessarily know if it is yikes because it's kind of what they've been doing out loud. There is no Democrat platform. There is a Republicans are bad and Trump is bad. And you can call them all sorts of names. Transphobic, we're now hearing racist. Like, it's a name calling enterprise that's built up around the evilness of Trump. So Biden saying it out loud is maybe what one would call a brain fart. But I don't necessarily think it's a shift in the existence of the Democratic Party right now.
Yeah, but saying it out loud really is. Everybody kind of, when I first heard it, I thought, well, that's unusual. Okay. You were talking about the younger generation of voters, Christine. Right. I want to put this poll up on this. This is the Harvard Kennedy Institute of Politics. The poll, it says among young voters 18 to 29, who'd you vote for? Biden 41, Trump 30. But here's the big number. The would not vote is at 15%. Even bigger, don't know is at 13%. You look at those numbers and you've got 38% of young people, the ages of 18 to 29 are like, I'm probably going to take a pass. And maybe partly because you've got the president of the United States saying, listen, if it's going to be Trump, then I'll run. Otherwise, I might let somebody else take over.
Well, you know, people often think young voters are apathetic, and that's really not the case. What they believe is that there's no current leader that's really representing their needs, their voice, and so they just decide not to vote. But when you look at the poll, 16% of Americans don't trust their elected leaders, don't trust the government right now. That is a national security crisis, and that number is even lower amongst young voters.
Yeah, and that's why you're running. May, I've got 10 seconds. Are you surprised by the young people that want to bow out?
No, they don't have any money. That's, I think, the issue. They are just faced with barriers everywhere they go, and they don't hear solutions, and it's frustrating.
Yeah. May Mailman, Christina Pascucci, thank you both.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we are just getting word the Israeli